one. I'm never going to get tired of hearing recording in progress. Because I was just thinking, how will I know if the recording starts? And it said recording in progress. And I was like, I know. I'm sorry. I mean, that's a bit from like 2021.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so sorry, y'all. I retired that bit and everything. I think I did a small funeral service for it, said a few words over that, and here it is again.
Well, it's good. So keep it. You can keep it.
Oh, but when you wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, thinking of original things just does not work.
Anyway. Not at 2. Well, what is it? Not at 2 p.m. And you haven't ever done.
Yeah. I'm well known on one of the End I Thought ladies. And guess what, you guys? We wrote books. Go figure. Yay. An author that writes books. We have End I Thought Divorce Was Bad. End I Thought Being Grown Up Was Easy. If Only I Were Me, a memoir and verse. Widow's Web, Widow's Debt, and The Foreign Coffee. If you're counting, that is 6 whole audiobooks. So pick them up wherever you can find your audiobooks. If you want to know about the other 11, which comes to a grand total of 6 plus 11 is 17 books. You can go to www.andithoughladies.com. You know, I got to do it one more time because Jade's not here to stop me. So I'm going to do it like a car salesman. You were like, www.andithoughladies.com. All right. I apologize for that, y'all. But if you're not here to hear about me, you're here to hear about our wonderful guest. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, my name is Tif Marcelo. I am a contemporary romance author, and my most recent book is called Know You by Heart. And yeah, I'm so happy to be here, and I love the energy here. It's giving me life on this 2 p.m. because I too got up. I am an early bird, just like you. So it's great to be able to talk to you this afternoon.
To contradict my guest because you're not supposed to do it. I am not normally an early bird. I don't know what happened. I feel like lightning striked and I just did not know that it struck me and I woke up. I went to work because I know that I wake up and be like, so what was I watching on TV last night? Oh my goodness. You have a new book out.
Yeah,
First of all, I have to say for all romance writers out there, because, you know, I tried my hand at it and I went to God, this is hard.
Yeah.
How did you keep that tension alive for all those pages?
Yeah. You know, the writing romance is just, well, I love romance. I love reading romance. I love writing romance, and just really trying to figure out between a couple, between two people, like what like pulls them together and what are the things that are pulling them apart. And it's just, hopefully, like when I'm writing a book, that I'm sprinkling both of these things in there so that these two people can figure out, you know, they can love one another, but there are things between them that keep them away from one another. So it's just kind of hoping that the balance is there, you know.
And how did you pick your setting this time?
Yeah, so the Know You by Heart is the second book in the Heart Resort series, and it's set in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And we love the Outer Banks. My family, when we're a military family, so we move around a lot. But when we live on the East Coast, we like to head down to the Outer Banks for the holidays, or not the holidays, but summer. And I always wondered, like in a small town like this, you have the locals, right? And you have the people that come every summer and just bombard the place. And how would it be to have these two like populations come together? And if they were in competing businesses, like what would happen with that? So I really wanted to play with that dynamic of new folks and the folks that are there, and what happens when those two businesses collide, and the people that are in it, basically. Yeah.
How did you keep it fresh? Because as you said, there was a first book, and now this is the second book in a series. I'm assuming there will be a third. How are you finding the ability to keep it fresh, to keep the writing, keeping the people curious and turning the pages?
Yeah, so I use different tropes. So like with the first book, it's with Brandon and Geneva, and they had a second chance romance. And this is when, you know, they were lovers, 5 years ago. And now they're seeing each other for the first time after 5 years. So that's that trope. And with this one, with Know You by Heart, it's a marriage of convenience. So you've got the older brother, Christopher, with his wife. And we find out in the first chapter that they aren't actual real married couple in the sense that they didn't marry for love. They're married for a contract. And then there's a third book, even though it's not part of the series, it's part of the world. And it's more of a Romeo and Juliet story. So it's like, I really try to hit a different major trope in each of these couples. And for those folks that like to read, you know, those different tropes, they have something to pop into every single time.
I love the fact that you cover it all.
Yeah.
My favorite one, of course, is Marriage by Convenience. I'm a sucker for. Every time I start them, and then Jada you don't even really like reading romance. So I'm like, Marriage by Convenience. It's just so good.
Because relationships by convenience actually happen all the time. I mean, even though people don't talk about it, for example, my husband is in the Army and I was in the Army, and I've known a lot of folks that, they're very young soldiers and they have to deploy or they got to move. They're going to boot camp and they marry right away, right? Because they love this person, but it also gives them health benefits, right? It gives them a place to live, that person that they love. And the loneliness is, they're no longer lonely because they have somebody with them that travels with them. So everybody has, with those, there's a little bit of marriage convenience in there. And when I got married with my husband, we married twice, my husband and I, but we married earlier because we needed to get stationed together. So there's a little bit of a convenience in there for us to get married when we hadn't planned on getting married until much later. So I wanted to play with that and see how it would work in modern times,
Oh, I want to say something so bad. I'm
scared. Yeah, go ahead, say it.
Jade would be so proud of me right now. She's like, you filtered it out. You filtered it. Good job. High five for imaginary Jade. There you are. So I know you said you like reading romance and you love writing romance, but if you could tiptoe into any other genre, what genre would you find you cheating on romance with?
Yeah, well, I've already cheated on romance. So I wrote young adult. So I wrote a young adult Christmas story last year. And then I also write in contemporary fiction. So I have 3 books in contemporary fiction and I have another one coming out next year. But I would love one day to write in thriller. I
was hoping you would say that.
Yeah. It's just I want to explore, because all of my stories, whether it's contemporary women's or romance or YA, they've all had a happily ever after. So one day I'll probably want to scratch the itch to do something where there's the complete opposite, Yeah.
Oh, I thoroughly understand. And once we get off of the recording, I'll have to talk, because I don't want to talk about me during the entire time. It's about you. And I just want you to know, I am the narcissist. Therefore, talking about me is going to happen.
It's all good.
I'm just trying to think of what 3 pieces of advice would you give to any person out there that's trying to make a career in writing romance?
Yeah, I would say, well, one is to read a lot of romance or watch a lot of romance, just to kind of get that feeling going of when things are happening, and that big breakup in the end, and try to figure out what things in the romance genre you like. So I would say do a lot of reading and a lot of watching. The second is just really sitting down and knocking out this love story, and just looking at the things why these 2 people love each other and why they can't be together. I think that's really the key to that. And the third, I would say experiment with the different tropes and see which one really catches on, because I noticed that I love specific tropes. I can try to write a one night stand, but it doesn't work because I can't circle up, or I really want to write a secret baby where, somebody finds out that, or, a guy finds out that, oh my gosh, the person I was with before had it. But there's so many modern day things that you have to circle up with, paternity testing and all of these things that probably in historical romances, right? What is an easier thing to write, a secret baby in historical romance, but not in modern romance. So I think that it's just, you have to find the trope that you think that you can jive with, and then just try to write that trope.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that a lot. Okay, so let's stick with the same question. So same, I feel like I'm playing Jeopardy here, so I'm gonna be like same subject for 200. What three pieces of advice? Oh wait, that would be the answer. What 3 pieces of advice? So give us 3 pieces of advice.
Yeah.
That for people who are going to jump genres.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So jumping genres for me it felt like it should have been easy, but it was actually difficult because it's hard to relearn, especially let's say you're writing one genre already. And so you're used to that. And then to switch over, you're really having to read other books. So that's hard to sometimes mix in with your current load, right? So you have to read widely in that genre that you want to write in. And then like, for me, I really had to dig into some craft books to bring out the different, I guess, features of it. Like the contemporary women's fiction has a lot of, you have to really dig down deep with other emotions for other people and not the love interest. So you have to focus on that. And then I would say you have to get readers of that specific genre to make sure that you are hitting those points. Because I remember my first contemporary fiction after romance, when I tried it out the first time, the person came back to me that my editor was like, yeah, you're still writing romance. This is still romance. Whereas that whole time I thought that I had fully switched over. So it's good for someone else to read it. That's for sure. That's probably super important.
Which brings me to the other point. Oh wait, was that all the advice?
I think that was 3. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That was good.
So brings me to the other point. How did you publish?
Yes. I was a nurse before. So this is my second career. I've wanted to become an author since I was a little girl, but that just wasn't going to do. I was from an immigrant family and my dad was like, no, you've got to eat. So I was a registered nurse and stayed a registered nurse for about 16 years. But when, I was pregnant with my 4th baby and decided I really want to get into finally publishing a book. And then that's when I started to write really seriously. And then I queried a literary agent for about 5 years. So I did that. I queried 3 books for 5 years and then finally got an agent. And then she sold my first book. So my first book published when I was 40. So it took a while to get here, but I'm very pleased. And I think I'm at like 11 books now. So I'm very happy, and I appreciate it, right? Because it's taken so long.
Oh, don't you ever just appreciate the entire journey.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being here today. It is so nice. Can you please tell everyone where they can buy the new book?
Yes.
They can follow you on social media and things like that.
Yeah, so you can get my books anywhere, but Amazon is great. So it's Know You by Heart is the title. And my website is tifmarcelo.com, and I'm easily reachable through Instagram, and that is at Tif Marcelo.
Thank you so much, Tif. I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up because I do have lunch waiting on me.
Yay!
It's seafood.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. You can find everything that you ladies are doing at www.andithoughladies.com. While you're there, go down to the middle of the page and you will see the charities that we proudly support. Please take a moment, give them a little help. These are difficult times for everyone, especially the whole recuperating and rebuilding section of this, getting over COVID. It's kind of hard. So please help them out. We thank you in advance for that. And remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona and the Missing Jade. Oh yeah. Thanks for listening.